Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to my 3 takeaways from the interview that I did with Matt Johnson, the president of On Target Living, this past Monday. I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode and saw all the value that he was able to bring. He brought so much inspiration, but I really loved the tangible, the tactical tools that he was able to provide, and that he provides a lot in his book called Capacity as well, that he co-authored with his father, Chris Johnson. So make sure you guys pick out a copy of his book, Capacity. You can go to his website, expandcapacity.com, to get a copy. I'm telling you, it's going to help you upgrade yourself and both your health and fitness and your life in general, because that's so many of these lessons are applicable to things in your everyday life that are outside of just these, like focus, like energy, like drive, like all of these things are super important in terms of your health and fitness. But those are the things that allow you to take it to the next level in your relationships, in your business, at your job, whatever it is that you're trying to upgrade yourself in. So make sure you take a look at the copy. If you like the interview, make sure you share it with a friend, and make sure you leave a rating and review on the Apple Podcast app or on iTunes. That's going to be the biggest way that you can help me grow this show, get it into more ears and get it in front of more eyes, because that's really what the goal is. The more people that we can get these messages to, everybody's going to benefit from that. Because if one person starts to get the message and they start to take action, they start to erase the victim mentality, they stop making excuses, they start to upgrade themselves, they start to attack their dreams, that only affects everybody else around them and in a positive manner. If you've ever been around somebody who attacks their goals, you realize that kind of energy can kind of dissipate into your own energy, and you start to take action a little bit more. So try to send this to somebody you think will allow you to upgrade yourself as well, just because they're going to start taking action in their life. But for now, let's get right into my 3 takeaways. Number one is plan on failing. We talked about failure a lot at the beginning of this episode, because we started off with his high school days where he didn't make the golf team his freshman year. He went on to play college golf, so he ended up being really good, but he didn't make it his freshman year, and he realized that changed the whole framework of what failure and success really means to him. And if you see failure as a growth mindset, as a gap that has the ability to be able to be filled, then you can start to ask questions about how you can actually close that gap. And the only way that you can start to ask those questions is if you fully accept the failure as your own. And I think that was one of my biggest takeaways from him, is that the only way that you can start taking action on your failures and actually start learning from them is, number one, is accepting it. Because if you never accept that the failure is your own, you're just going to blame other people, or you might just take on that victim mentality. So one, accept that the failure is your own and that you can actually do something about it, and then start asking those right questions about how you can actually start to fill that gap to ensure that you don't fail in the exact same way the next time through. Number two is everything is a skill. I absolutely love this because I've talked about it, I think, a while back, but it's starting to come back to me more and more often about how many of these different things that we don't really think of as skills, but they're things that we continually need to practice and we continually need to develop. And the biggest one that we talked about during this interview is focus. Like, a lot of people just think that they're not focused individuals, but that's not how it works. Like, you have to practice, you have to work on that skill of being focused. And there's so many different things on an everyday basis that can allow you to start to practice that skill of being focused. And for him, he talked about not having his phone when he's in bed, because if he has his phone, he continues to look at it, and it lets him lose his focus. Like, don't look at your phone right when you wake up in the morning. That immediately sets your brain off to start thinking of all these different things, of all the different people, all the different notifications, all the different problems, all the different things that you have to do that particular day. So there are different things that you can try to do on an everyday basis to practice on your focus and to be intentional about practice on your focus. For me, I set my phone on Do Not Disturb when I know a specific task that I have to do, when I know a specific task that I have to complete is. That way I'm not getting distracted, and I can just stay completely locked in on that particular thing. So that's something that helps me stay focused. This podcast helps me stay focused, because when I'm interviewing someone, I'm just locked into them and completely listening to them and not thinking about what I have to do later on in the day. So just try to implement different things in your life so you can practice focus. And there are so many different other things as well that are like this, in my opinion, that you have to work on, like creativity. Creativity, I don't believe, is something that someone just has. I do maybe think that some people might naturally be a little bit more creative than others, but I think that a lot has to do with your environment and how you were brought up and everything like that. So make sure that these different things you don't think of as I either have them or I don't. It's a skill that you have to develop and that you have to continue to practice and work on. Takeaway number 3 is the ability to self-correct. You only know what you know. There are things that you don't know that you don't know. Like the way that we talked about this is there's a lot of people who don't know what feeling their best actually feels like. And that's when I started to think, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so true. Like if you've never felt your best before, then you don't know what that feels like. We talked about it in terms of working out and eating healthy. Like if you've never worked out, you don't know what kind of energy that has to bring you or what that can bring you. So you don't have the motivation to work out necessarily. Or if you don't know how eating healthy can make you feel so good, you don't have the motivation to feel good because you don't know what you're missing out on. So that just kind of can motivate you to go outside of your comfort zone and try things that you haven't done before. And I think that fitness and health and eating right is one of the biggest ways that people can do this, because while I eat healthy, I work out, and I'm energetic, I think there's a new peak level that I could even feel. I know there's a certain level of energy that I haven't even tapped into yet. There's a certain level that I don't even know how I can feel because I've never felt that way before. And I'm just constantly now going to be trying to think of ways about how I can unleash that potential inside of myself. So if you've never worked out or eaten healthy, you never know how good you can actually feel. So you can always take your energy levels and your focus levels and your drive to that next level. So again, guys, my 3 takeaways. Number 1 is plan on failing. To me, if you have the outlook that I am going to fail and that failure is okay, then that way when that particular thing happens, when you screw up, when you fail, you're not as negatively impacted by it and you can rebound much quicker. And that way you can see that failure is simply a gap that has the ability to be filled. And when you can see it that way, you start to ask the right questions. You start to be curious in the right way in order to fill that gap in the best way and the quickest way possible. Number 2 is everything is a skill. Things like focus, things like creativity. These aren't things that you either have or that you don't have. Those are things that you can develop, that you can practice, and that you have to continually practice on once you've developed them. So try to find hacks in your everyday life in order to practice and develop skills like focus, skills like creativity, and so many others. Number 3 is the ability to self-correct. You don't know your highest level of energy until you've actually felt that. I'm looking to really untap a level of energy that I've never even felt before. Like if you've never felt your best, then you don't actually know what feeling your best could actually feel like. So if you've never worked out, if you've never eaten healthy or as active as you could possibly be, then you're not even sure what your potential is. So find different ways to unlock that potential that you've never been able to experience before. So I hope you guys enjoyed this 3 takeaways episode. I hope you got a lot of value from Matt and everything he had to share, because this guy's amazing. He's shared so much. He's continually learning himself. And make sure you get a copy of his book that he co-authored with his father called Capacity, so you can increase your focus, you can increase your energy levels, and you can reach that drive so that you can accomplish all the things that you want to accomplish, and you can get closer to that best version of yourself day in and day out.